Hi, good evening, everyone. I am Steffi from Pluxee's marketing team. I welcome all of y'all to another wonderful session on financial wellness. So, I have Anuj on the other end. I'm sure we all must be investing somewhere or the other, but are we investing right? Are we strategically looking at long term investments? Is something which we will get to know from Anuj. So, he is the expert here today. Over to you, Anuj. Probably you can just share your screen and start off with your presentation.
Okay, hi guys. Good evening. I hope my screen is visible. If yes, could you please give me a thumbs up on the emoji so that I know you can see my screen? Okay, great.
Anuj, your audible screen is visible.
Perfect. Super. Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Anuj. I'm a part of the core team at One Finance, and I'm a chartered wealth manager. And I've focused a lot of my time professionally and from my education in the space of finance. That's about me. Thank you so much for joining in today on a Wednesday evening, trying to learn about something which may not be very interesting for a lot of you, but if you've taken that step, then kudos to all of you. Um, Before we proceed, I have a quick quiz for all of you. Um, yeah, you will not be scored, so don't worry about it. आपको कोई pass or fail नहीं होने वाला है इसमें. But I request you to scan this QR code. There'll be a couple of questions on personal finance that you will be asked. Try to give your honest answer. Obviously, don't Google because uh, अच्छे marks आके कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला है. But the idea is for you to just get an understanding of what are the things that matter and how much are you aware of when it comes to personal finance. Let me know if any of you face challenges in scanning the code and if the code doesn't operate or anything. But otherwise, I think it's quite straightforward and shouldn't take more than 2 to 3 minutes of your time. Once you've done, please give me a thumbs up on the emoji so that I know most of you are done taking the quiz. Okay, I see a couple of you have started showing us your thumbs up, but we'll wait for another 2 minutes for everybody else in the webinar to finish putting up their responses. Another minute to go. We are at 4:05. We should give this under 4:06 and then we can start. Okay, last 10 seconds. Okay, all right. Thank you very much, all of you. Um, uh, there is definitely a surprise for the answers that you've given by the end of this workshop. You should know what it is soon. All of you will be getting something interesting and exciting. Um, but I hope at least that gives you a little bit of perspective in terms of how many terms genuinely are you aware about when it comes to personal finance. It's not just straightforward stocks and mutual funds and returns and investments and profits, but a lot of other things which also matter when it comes to personal finance. So, kickstarting the workshop for today, the idea is simple. I'm here to talk to you all about financial planning and how doing effective and efficient financial planning can help you grow your money, right? Now, when it comes to growing your money and making money, what matters is not just how rich you are, how wealthy you are, how much money do you have, right? What matters is well-being. So, couple of important things to keep in mind. One is we all are aware about being physically fit. We're all aware about being, consistent with the way we are physically in terms of working out, not eating a lot of junk food, um, drinking enough water, things like that. The idea is for us to do that so that we are physically fit. Ultimately wanting to achieve physical well-being, right? And we are all aware about it. We are taking actions for it. So we wear smartwatch. We track our, steps. We track our, couple of, other metrics through our smartwatch in terms of what's our heartbeat like. We do regular body checkups, things like that. So we are putting in a lot of effort to be physically fit, right? Which is to achieve physical well-being. We're all aware about mental and emotional well-being. So focusing on work-life balance, not taking too much stress, not being very anxious, trying to meditate, listening to music you like, things like that, right? At least we are aware. Are we mentally and emotionally perfect? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But at least we are aware about it, right? So then, when it comes to physical well being, mental and emotional well being, we're absolutely aware and we're taking actions for it. What about financial well being? Are we taking enough actions to understand? Are we there when it comes to financial well being? Um, that's the question you need to ask, and that's the state of mind you need to chase when it comes to your money, and not profits or returns or anything of that sort, right? What is financial well-being? Well, mentally and emotionally, it is that state of mind that gives you peace of mind in general, right? Just explaining it absolutely, very simple vanilla terms. Now, when can you achieve peace of mind? Well, technically, when everything that is currently you are expected to do financially, you can very peacefully meet all your obligations. Uh, you can secure your financial future, and you are ready to face any emergency that could arise in your life. When such things are taken care of, one, meeting your current lifestyle and obligations. Two, ensuring that your future is secured, right? And three, to have that mental peace of mind that no matter what kind of emergency may arise in your life, you can face that financial emergency, right? When these three things are ticked for you, checked for you, you will achieve peace of mind, right? And that's technically financial well-being. Now that gives you a little bit of breather mentally to sort of enjoy your life, to sort of focus on your work, to be motivated to do better work, right, professionally, and just take it ahead from there. So that's financial well-being for you. The point why I'm starting our workshop today with financial well-being is because as much as importance and effort we put in physical well-being, mental and emotional well-being, similar amount of focus, energy and effort needs to be put in for financial well-being also, right? Which technically is reducing wrong financial decisions. Now, um, quick, show of thumbs up. How many people have ever taken any wrong financial decision ever in your life? It could be anything. Show of hands. I have made many wrong financial decisions. Anybody else in this workshop who've taken wrong financial decisions? Okay. Um, couple of you I see. Oh, a lot of you. Okay. Okay. All right. Uh, okay. Uh, with every time the thumbs up are coming up, the number is only increasing. Okay. Uh, so it's common, right? It's natural. We definitely end up making wrong financial decisions. Now, what are the reasons behind why we take wrong financial decisions? One, either we are surrounded by people or content around us which is not accurate, which may not be qualified and not right for us. Three different things, right? Very different. For example, we may be looking at a video on Instagram or YouTube where somebody is like, buy this stock and put your money in the stock and your money will double in 15 days. It may not necessarily work out, right? Because we don't know if that individual is qualified to give us that advice or not. The second kind of mistakes we make is doing what others are doing. So it's always said that we are an average of the five people we surround most of the time with, right? So if somebody else, if let's say five people around you is purchasing, for example, cryptocurrency, even if you are not comfortable with a cryptocurrency sort of an asset, you will end up, participating in that transaction because people around you are doing it. And it may or may not work out to be the best decision for you, right? And the third option is obviously lack of understanding and knowledge, because when you don't understand something and when you still participate, like in the case of cryptocurrency, if you don't understand that product, but if you anyway still get into it because people around you are doing it, you'll end up making wrong financial decisions, right? Um, that's one big reason. The other big reason, in India, we are conditioned to talk and think only about investments when it comes to money. And we don't think about other aspects when it comes to money. So our thinking and our mentality is only like a horse vision that "Nahi, money is investments." Now, when that happens, that's problem one. Problem two, wherever our money is today, it is scattered. We don't have it in one place, right? So multiple bank accounts, multiple credit cards, multiple investments. So when we don't have one view of all our financials, that's problem two. And when we are surrounded by people who are either not qualified or they may not be the right people for us when it comes to financial decisions. When all of these three things play a role together in your life, very high chances that you will end up taking a decision financially which is not the right financial decision. How do you overcome that? Take a pause, step back, and understand money. What is money? What is financial planning? Financial planning is not just investment planning, because when we think about money, we think like, okay, I earn 50,000 rupees, I spend 30,000 rupees, I save 20,000 rupees and invest. Straightforward. But that's not what exactly financial planning is, right? You must have seen those videos where 20 30, 50 30 20 rules. If out of 100 rupees, 50 rupees has to be spent, 20 rupees has to be saved. They are very thumb rule, generic thumb rules, right? That's not how it applies for everybody. It's very different for everybody, right? So take a step back and understand what is financial planning. Beyond investments is financial planning, right? So you need to think about your income and expenses. You need to think about your emergency readiness. Now, in emergency readiness, there's insurance, which is health insurance and term insurance, and emergency corpus, right? So you start with emergency readiness, health, term, emergency corpus. You move on to understanding your budgeting. Budgeting is how much money you earn, how much you spend on your expenses, spend on your EMIs, right? All of that. So income and expense planning. Post that, there is investments. So within investments, there is asset allocation. So where to put money, how much money to put where, right? All of that. Along with that, there's also liability planning, right? So how much loan can I afford? Shall I or shall I not take a loan? Shall I take a good loan or a bad loan, right? All of that. And along with that, there is tax planning and estate and will planning. When you look at all of these pillars together, is exactly financial planning. So the starting point is having a financial advisor who is preparing a financial plan for you. If you start from there, naturally the amount of wrong decisions you take will reduce. And if wrong decisions reduce, better or good decisions will increase. And if that increase, mental well-being, peace of mind, financial well-being, right? So now to explain financial planning and whatever pillars I spoke to you about here, let's understand this more practically in format of a case study, right? So that we can try and understand what exactly I'm trying to tell when I mean financial planning. So let's assume there's a Ravi. By the way, any Ravi in the workshop today? Is there somebody named Ravi? I'm not sure, but if there is, maybe a show of hand. I don't see anybody. Okay, all right. So let's assume there's this person called Ravi. He is 34 years old, currently at a 18 lakhs CTC, right? So the annual package is 18 lakhs. Net worth is 23 lakhs. I will come to what net worth means. Currently he is married. His parents both are senior citizens, both are 60 plus of age, and they are both financially dependent on Ravi. Right now, what does financially dependent mean? I'll tell you. And has also two kids. So one is a 2-year old and the other one is a 5-year old, right? Um, Before I move on to his specific financial situations, first is net worth. Now, what does net worth mean? Net worth is nothing but total of your assets that you own minus all the liabilities that you have is your net worth. So, in simple terms, if I were to give you an example, let's assume you have a house worth 1 crore, you have some investments worth 20 lakhs, and maybe some gold worth 10 lakhs. So the total of your assets that you own is 1 crore plus 20 lakhs plus 10 lakhs, which is 1 crore 30 lakhs. But on that house, you have a loan for 30 lakhs, right? Which is still due to be paid, which for which you're paying EMI. Now, from the 1 crore 30 lakhs, we need to remove 30 lakhs loan, which gives you 1 crore. So your net worth is 1 crore and not 1 crore 30 lakhs, right? Similarly, for Ravi, if the net worth is 23 lakhs, that is the amount of the assets he owns after removing all the liabilities. Three things to keep in mind. One, for Ravi, sorry, before I go to these three things, the second part which I will explain is financial dependency. Now, all of us here may or may not have, but there is a high probability that we may have some people in our life who is dependent on us financially. Financially, when you say, like for example, in case of Ravi, both his parents are dependent on him. So let's assume both his parents are living with him in his house, right? He has two kids. The kids are obviously not earning and making money, right? So they also live in the same house, dependent on Ravi's income. So two people, his parents who are not earning and are dependent, plus two kids, totally four people are financially dependent on Ravi. Plus he's married. So today we don't know if Ravi's wife is earning or not, but let's assume Ravi's wife is also earning and contributing something to the family. If that is the case, at a family level, these four people are dependent. If we assume Ravi's wife is not earning, five people are dependent on Ravi's income of 18 lakhs. Clear? Um, Three things to keep in mind. One is living expenses. Now, living expenses means any type of expenditure that Ravi is doing today, including rent, electricity bill, phone bill, Wi-Fi, going out to watch a movie, ordering food on Swiggy, Zomato, right? All of that is 8 lakh rupees. Whatever expenses he requires to do. So in expenses, you need to understand there are two parts, needs and wants. Needs are basically expenses that we have to do, they are beyond our control. Like for example, in case of Ravi has two kids and he wants to send them to school. Now that is a need as an expense. He can't not send his kids to school, right? His parents are dependent on him. So when they're dependent and they're 60 plus, assuming there's an expense of medication and stuff like that, he has to make that expense. He can't skip. But what is a want? Ordering a pizza from Swiggy, going out and shopping, of things which you don't require, things like that, right? So living expenses majorly here are needs which he requires, which is 8 lakh rupees. So from 18 lakhs, 8 lakhs in a year is expenses. Remaining is 10 lakhs, right? The other two things, he has a personal loan today of 5 lakhs, which was taken for medical emergency. Now let's assume the two parents that are dependent on Ravi, they don't have health insurance and they are both senior citizens. Now, if there was a situation of a health condition for parents, Ravi did not have enough savings. He had to take a personal loan to pay the hospital bill, right? So, personal loan of 5 lakh rupees for which was taken for his parents. On that, he is paying an EMI of 13,167 per month, which is at a 12% interest rate, right? Now, this is Ravi. Uh, all of you and I together, we are all financial advisors, and Ravi is coming to us and telling us that, hey, I'm Ravi, this is my situation. Help me plan my finances. Help me understand what I need to do, right? So now, as an advisor, all of us together, let's plan financially for Ravi. The first thing we have to do, if you remember from this pillar, the first thing I told you is emergency readiness, right? So emergency corpus, health insurance, term insurance, right? So that's the first thing we have to speak about when we plan for Ravi. The first thing is, let's focus on insurance planning for Ravi. Now, why are we planning insurance first for Ravi? Is because there are 5 people dependent on Ravi, which means if anybody falls sick, right, then he could sort of get into a debt trap where he may have to take more loans, right? So, couple of myths that we'll try to debunk while we talk about insurance. The first, insurance with investment coverage is better than term insurance. We must have heard, right, that aap itna paisa pay karo, pay so much premium, and after like 20 years, after 30 years, you will get all your money back, right? Insurance and investments are two separate things. They are not the same, right? For example, let me explain this to you. I am holding this glass of water and I'm trying to explain to you that, hey, this is a telephone, this is a mobile phone, please use this mobile phone. Does it make sense? It doesn't, right? Because you know this is water and this is a mobile phone. They're two different things, exactly the same. Insurance and investments are two separate things. Their purpose, their need, and their requirements are absolutely separate. All you need in your life when it comes to insurance is health insurance and a plain vanilla term insurance. That's about it. Life insurance should last until the age of 90 or 100. That's another myth. So when you go to these insurance companies to purchase a term insurance, they tell you you will get a life cover for up to the age of 90 and 100. Do you need term insurance till you die? No, you don't, right? Because term insurance, the purpose of term insurance is to replace the financial value that you bring to your family. So today, the financial income that Ravi is bringing to the family is 18 lakh rupees. He has a loan of 5 lakh rupees and 5 people are dependent on him. That is the financial value he's bringing to the table. Until Ravi turns 60, he will continue earning money and contributing to the family. But let's assume Ravi retires at 60. If after 60, if Ravi is not going to earn money, will he take loans? No, because he will not be able to pay, right? And he will also not get loans. Two, by that time, most people in his family would have become financially independent. And three, by the time he turns 60, Ravi should have and would have done retirement planning so that the next phase of his life, which is retirement, he has enough money to survive. Now, at that age, if nobody's dependent on him, he doesn't have any loans, and he's got into retirement, why does he require term insurance? Because if he dies at the age of 70, there is nobody financially dependent on him who may need money, right? So, life insurance is not something that you need until the age of 90 and 100. You need it till the age you think you are going to financially contribute to your family. Because until that age, in between, if you die, life insurance covers that financial value for your family. Okay. Um, Third, health insurance, family floater plans. Now, what is a family floater? One health insurance plan that covers multiple people. Who are these multiple people? You yourself, your partner, your kids, your parents. So you can add family members in a floater policy, right? Now, we sometimes think that instead of purchasing separate policy for everybody in the family, we purchase one policy and add everybody in that policy. It makes sense, right? But not always. Because in a floater health insurance, the premium is calculated as per the eldest member of the group in that floater policy. For example, in case of Ravi, his wife, his kids, and his two parents. If we purchase a floater policy for 5 people, Ravi is young, right? He is 34, but his parents are 60 plus. Now, if he all of them together purchase a floater policy, the premium of the health insurance will be priced as per his parents and not Ravi, which is a difference of 30 years in age. Now, imagine a health insurance policy for a 60-year-old. It becomes very expensive, right? So, it's not always better. You need to evaluate who is the person getting into the floater policy. So, for Ravi, what we will suggest is one, let's get a 15 lakh rupees health insurance cover that is covering himself, his wife, and his two kids. 4 people in the floater policy. So the eldest member, assuming Ravi, is 34 years old, right? Second, for his parents, there are two options. Option three, actually. Option one, if his company is providing corporate cover, right? He can use that corporate cover for his parents. Option two, on that corporate cover, he can take a top up, right? Option three, so the first two are a part of the same option, right? The second option is he purchases a separate health insurance policy for his two parents, right? And option three, if the health insurance is very expensive and if he cannot afford to pay the premium every year for his senior citizen parents, he can create a more bigger emergency corpus, liquid savings that he can use if there is any medical emergency that may arise for his parents, right? So that's on the insurance part. For term insurance, because Ravi has 5 people dependent on him, we will also recommend him getting a 2 crore rupee term insurance until the age of his retirement, right? Any options apart from these is something we don't have to consider, right? This is the first part that we're going to recommend to Ravi. The second part is income and expense planning. Now, for Ravi, if you see, 8 lakh rupees is his expenses out of 18 lakhs, plus 13,000 is going as his EMI every month, right? So today for Ravi, his expense to income ratio is almost 59%, which means out of 100 rupees that he's earning, 59 rupees is he's spending, right? Now, is that a high ratio or a low ratio? There is no black and white answer to that, right? What we need to understand is in his overall situation, can he healthily and steadily maintain this ratio, right? So should he increase or decrease, right? So let's look at some of the myths when it comes to income and expense planning, right? Generating additional income or pursuing multiple income streams means moonlighting. Is this true? How many of you think it's true? Thumbs up or thumbs down? So if you are generating additional income or pursuing multiple income streams, you are actually moonlighting. Okay. Whoever is responding, all of you are showing thumbs down. Great. I think all of you are doing very well. That's the right answer. All of you are now getting close to becoming a financial advisor. So that's a good job. Yes, it's not moonlighting, because generating additional income and pursuing multiple income streams is not necessarily doing the same work you are doing for your company. What if you have a house that you have put up on rent and you're earning rental income from that? Is that moonlighting? No, right? What if you hold a real estate investment trust, REITs, which is a listed product for commercial real estate? You hold some quantity of that product, and every year you are getting dividends from that stock as a income, right? Now, is that moonlighting? Or whatever stocks you hold, you are getting dividend out of it. That is additional income. Is that moonlighting? No, right? So that means not necessarily every additional income that you earn or pursuing multiple income streams is moonlighting. Okay. The second, credit cards should be completely avoided. It's a very bad product and you should not use it. Not really. If you use it wisely and if you have control over your expenditure, credit cards can be a very powerful tool to optimize on the reward points that you earn out of your expenses. Because see, expenses are going to happen no matter what. But if you use the card wisely on your credit cards, you can actually get good amount of reward points that you can use, right? and your personal expenses increase exactly at the same rate as inflation. How many of you have heard the word inflation? Mangai. I think you must have heard, but how many of you have experienced inflation in your life? Most of you, right? Couple of examples: going to buy vegetables and finding out the price of 1 kg tomato has suddenly increased, right? Or if you have been going to the same salon, same barber to get a haircut, and over a period of time the price of a haircut has increased, that's inflation, right? All of you have experienced that. uh, so does that mean how much ever money you're spending, it increases with inflation? So inflation is considered to be growing at a 5, 6, 6.5% every year. Does that mean your expenses are also increasing by 5, 6% every year? Or do you think it could be a different number? It doesn't, right? So inflation is static. It grows at a 5, 6, sometimes 7. 7 is very high. We've not seen it so far, in the recent times, but uh, it grows at that stage. But your expenses can multifold based on your life situation. Let's say you relocate to a city which is expensive, or you have a child in your life. So in case of Ravi, he has a 5-year-old child and a 2-year-old child, but his expenses before the second child came would have been different, versus when the second child came, the expenses must have completely changed. It's not linked to inflation, right? So these are a couple of myths that you need to be aware of. What can we help Ravi with? Well, one, first thing, cash inflow, cash outflow. 18 lakhs money that is coming in every month, he has to maintain a budget. So make a note of all the expenses. Where are you spending the money? Smallest of the expense, uh, buying a packet of milk, buying a packet of biscuit, paying electricity bill, all of that, make a note and track and monitor where are the living expenses going. If Ravi does that consistently for 3 months and tracks all the expenses, he will automatically understand where the money is going, and then he will itself be able to categorize, okay, these expenses could have been avoided, these expenses could not have been avoided. That's the most simplest and straightforward approach, right? Second, evaluating credit cards. So let's assume, based on the expenses after 3 months of exercise, right, we understand these are his expenses. Now whatever credit card Ravi has today, we evaluate these credit cards against his expenses and see which expense can be made from which credit card, so that he can take benefit of the um, reward points that he will get out of his expenses, right? And with this, we will also be creating a emergency corpus, which is anywhere between 3 to 9 months of his expenses. Now, in case of Ravi, because he has two senior citizen parents, he has two kids and a wife who's dependent on him, and if he decides not to purchase a health insurance for his family, his parents, right, then anywhere between 9 to 12 months of his expenses should be considered as an emergency corpus. Why? So that tomorrow, if he loses his job, or if there's a job scare, or if there's a medical emergency coming in for his parents, there's enough buffer available for Ravi to fall back on, rather than going to a bank or a NBFC lender and taking another personal loan on top of the 5 lakh rupee loan which he already has. Now, assuming in the last couple of years, if Ravi would have created an emergency corpus, right? Um, his expenses are 8 lakh rupees for 1 year, right? So for 6 months, it is 4 lakh rupees, right? Now, if he would have created an emergency corpus for 6 months, which is 4 lakhs, he would have not had to take a 5 lakh rupee loan. He could have used that 4 lakh rupees from his emergency corpus. You get the logic, right? His expenses are 8 lakh rupees. We are telling him to create an emergency corpus of at least 6 months, which is 4 lakhs. And if he would have had that, when the medical emergency came, he needed 5 lakh rupees. Out of that, 4 lakhs he already has. He was only short of 1 lakh, right? That makes a difference. So after the emergency planning is done, income and expense budgeting is done. Emergency planning includes emergency corpus, health insurance, term insurance, right? So what we've done for Ravi so far, we've helped him understand purchase a 15 lakh rupees health insurance floater policy for himself, his wife, and two kids, right? Evaluate if taking a separate policy for his parents makes sense, or taking a corporate top up for his parents, or creating an emergency corpus for parents separately, right? Then taking a 2 crore term insurance cover plain vanilla until the age of his retirement, tracking his expenses for 3 months at least, so that he understands where is the money going for wants and where is the money going for needs, and linking that to the right kind of credit card so that he can take better benefit of that and reduce his expenses. In the meantime, also creating an emergency buffer of 9 to 12 months at least. Now, is 9 to 12 months standard? No. Like I explained, in the case of Ravi, for Ravi, it is advisable. For somebody, it could also be worth 3 months if they have not too many dependents on them financially, right? So, anywhere between 3 months to 12 months is a decent range. Next, we come to loan planning. Now, there are two types of loan: good loan, bad loans. In general, not all loans are bad, right? Typically, we've been conditioned in a country like India where we feel like no, loans are bad, we should stay away from it and never take them. But not necessarily every type of loan is bad. For example, if you take a loan to buy a house, right, then that is a good loan because you are building an asset with that loan, and that asset appreciates. Appreciate means the price is increasing for that asset over a period of time. Even car is an asset, right? You can sell the car and you'll get the money. But if you take a loan for a car, that loan is not a good loan. That's a bad loan because car is a depreciating asset, which means the minute you buy the car and you walk out of the showroom, the value of the car drops, right? So good loan, bad loan. Um, Taking loan to go on a vacation, good loan or bad loan? Bad loan, right? I mean, you could argue with me that no, it's my work-life balance and I need that mental peace and I have to go to Vietnam, otherwise I will not feel productive in my work and all of that. But I agree. But if you are going to take a loan and then go on a vacation, then it's not going to be helpful for you, right? Over a long period of time. So any kind of personal loans taken for consumption. Consumption means buying an iPhone on loan, right? Buying expensive electronic items on loan. Zero cost EMI is different and taking a loan EMI is different, right? Going on vacations on loan. They're all bad loans, right? So all types of loans should be avoided. No. Bad loans to be avoided. Good loans, talk to your financial advisor and understand if you can afford it or not, right? Checking the credit score online through your Google Pay apps, Cred apps will lower it. No. So there is a hard pull and there is a soft pull. What is your credit score is nothing but a quantitative output of your credit worthiness. Anybody who gives you a loan, they look at your credit score. If the credit score is good, you get the loan easily and at a lower interest rate. If your credit score is bad, there are chances you may not get a loan, and if you do get a loan, it will be at a higher interest rate, right? So if you check your credit score again and again, what is my score, it will reduce it. No. If you do soft check, which is Google Pay and Cred, it will not reduce it. Only when you apply for a loan to a bank or an NBFC, and if they fetch your credit score, hard pull, that will reduce it, right? If you can afford the EMI, any purchase is justified, right? I'm earning 50,000 rupees. I buy an iPhone 17 Pro, whatever the latest, I'm not sure, 1 TB, 2 TB for 2 lakh rupees because 2 years ka EMI is only 20,000 per month. I can pay 20,000. Is that justified? It's not, right? Out of a 50,000 rupee income, 20,000 is going out on an EMI for a want, not a need, right? So not any purchase is justified just because you can afford that EMI. Always remember, affordability is not justified for your expense, which means, for example, a pair of jeans is available for 1,000 rupees and a pair of jeans is also available for 50,000 rupees, right? You agree? Now, Ravi is earning 18 lakh rupees per year. Does that mean he can't purchase the 50,000 rupees jeans? He can, right? He's having enough money coming in every month. He can just walk into a showroom which is selling an expensive jeans, swipe his card and purchase a 50,000 rupees jeans. He can, but can he afford it? That's the question. Always remember that whenever you are taking a financial decision of a purchase, always ask your question. I can pay for it. Yes, I agree. But can I afford it? Right? That's the question. So in case of Ravi, he has a personal loan, 5 lakh rupee, because it is a personal loan and he failed to plan for emergencies. This is a bad loan. Now, bad EMI to income for Ravi is 9%, which means EMI is linked to bad loan, which is personal loan, to his income. The ratio is 9%. So 10% of his income, 9% of his income is going out in an EMI, which is not helping him build an asset. If the same EMI was for a house, then it's a good ratio, right? Because it's also going into his savings. So for Ravi, he has to first prioritize repaying his loan and avoid any unnecessary expenses, right? Once the loan is repaid, he can allocate more towards investing. So now do you understand the conversation here? We have not yet started talking about investments. We have not yet started talking about SIPs and savings and mutual funds and all of that, right? We first figured out emergency, health insurance, term insurance, and emergency corpus. We figured out his expense and income pattern. Based on that, first we want to reduce his loan. Why? Because it's a bad loan. If it was a good loan, we could have figured it out in another way, right? Once these things are sorted, only after that we will start talking about his um, investments. Now, when it comes to investments, should you put all your money in one asset? Should you put all your money in one type of product? Yes or no? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Okay. Wow, nice. I don't think I need to take this workshop because all of you already have the right answers to all my questions. Maybe the next time, we can all genuinely start financial planning because you guys are already there. So that's a very good answer, guys. You should not put all your money in one product. You must have heard that saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket because, well, they'll break, right? So if you put all your money in one product, there are more chances that you will lose your money than you will actually make up money. So this is where the concept of asset allocation makes sense, right? Now, what is asset allocation? It's nothing but your equity, real estate, commodities like gold, silver, right? Passive income, alternative source of income, all of these kind of assets, you should have a little bit of money invested in all of this. Now, what is that little bit? It depends on your life stage, your generation profile, your money sign. You can find out your money sign from One Finance. And what is your income? How much are you spending? How many people are financially dependent on you? What are your life milestones? What are your goals? All of this is important. Without having answers to all of this, if you put your money in any investment product, it can be a bad decision, right? So what I'm trying to tell you here is, if you are waiting that I'm going to tell you that, okay, which mutual fund to purchase and how much SIP to start, that's not what I'm going to tell you right now, right? Because it doesn't work that way. If you want to know which product to put your money into, that information is available for free of cost. You don't have to attend a workshop for that. What you need to attend the workshop for anywhere is to understand, how do you approach investments? There's a process, there is a structure, right? So for example, if you join a gym and you want to lose 15 kgs, on the first day of your gym, are you going to, like, let's say, start running on the treadmill for 2 hours? No, right? There is a structure, there is a process. So for the first time, the gym trainer or whoever you're working out with will understand your body type, understand your stamina, understand your goal, which is reducing 15 kgs, understand the time, that okay, in how much time do you want to reduce your weight, right? Based on that, they will create a plan for you on which you can gradually reduce your weight. Similarly, for investments, based on your multiple situations, scenarios, and needs, we will identify which asset class is right. So in case of Ravi, right now, the investments Ravi is doing, he's putting 5,000 in mutual funds every month. 12,000 is getting deducted in EPF, Employee Provident Fund, and 12,000 is getting deducted in PPF. public provident fund, right? He has no emergency funds. Couple of myths. Investments should only be in equity. We debunk that, right? No, it should be a decent asset allocation. And how do you identify asset allocation? Based on multiple parameters, right? Is it too early to start retirement? No. Retirement is 30 years away. I'm young. I want to live my life wild, free, all of that. Sounds good, but not practically possible for you to live a life for a long, because then it never comes. Tomorrow never comes, right? And a financial plan once created does not require regular checkups. No, like I mentioned, asset allocation keeps changing with your situation, so it requires a regular checkup. In case of Ravi, like we discussed, we are going to build an emergency fund for his PPF. We will replace that fund with NPS, National Pension Scheme, for his retirement, because NPS has better benefits. He will be able to save better taxes and also earn better returns on that investment compared to PPF as a product, right? And after 3 months, once his loan is, sort of structured, his emergency planning is done, not 3 months, but maybe 6 to 9 months, we will increase his investments to a better diversified portfolio. So maybe we'll increase his SIP, add some gold, silver, maybe add some REITs because he doesn't have a house today, right? That is how we will gradually create a plan for investments for Ravi, right? Um, Tax planning, for the interest of the time, I'm not going to go into the depth of this, but for tax planning, two things matter. One, do you need old regime or new regime? Is there a standard answer? No. For every individual, that answer is different. You need to speak to your financial advisor, explain to them your income, your deductions that you can claim, and all of that. Based on that, it will be calculated for you: is old regime better or new regime better? That is one. Point two, my income is less than 12 lakhs. So the minimum income up to 12 lakhs of income, there is no tax amount that you have to pay. Which means if my income is 11 lakh rupees, do I have to file my taxes? I don't need to file my taxes. My income is not 12 lakhs. Answer is no, you have to file your taxes. So paying taxes and filing taxes are two separate things. Step one is file your taxes. Filing is telling the government that, hey, this is the amount of money I've earned in this year, right? Now, if that amount of money is more than 12 lakhs, step two kicks in. You have to pay the taxes based on that. If your income is less than 12 lakhs, then in step two, no tax needs to be paid. So tax filing is mandatory no matter what, right? New tax regime is better than old tax regime, and old tax regime is better than new tax regime. No, it's not like that. For every individual, it is different. You need to calculate that, right? And tax planning is just about spending more on additional tax saving instruments. Not necessary. That is where new tax regime and old tax regime plays a very important role, right? For Ravi, let's find out if old regime is better than new regime. For the interest of time, let's not calculate that immediately. But if you're interested, I don't know if you can see, but on the One Finance website, you will be able to calculate your old versus new tax regime. All you need to do is just put your information here, and when you go to the next page, they will ask for your deductions, and then based on that, it will tell you if old regime is better for you or new regime is better for you, right? um okay, so that's on the tax planning for Ravi. So for Ravi, given his 18 lakhs is his income, he has to file his taxes. And because it is 18 lakhs, about 12 lakhs, there will be tax payable for him. So for him, it is more important to evaluate if new regime is better or old regime is better. Second, tax harvesting, either loss or gain, right? Up to the March end, 31st of March, you can harvest your tax, which means if there are profits in your portfolio, stocks or mutual fund, if the profit is up to 1,25,000 rupees, you can sell that stock or mutual fund today and then rebuy it tomorrow again because you've purchased it for a long period of time. But your tax becomes exempted up to 1 lakh rupees. So the point that I'm trying to make is, if you don't sell it today and if you keep holding it for the next 2, 3, 4 years, this 1 lakh profit will become 5 lakhs. You will end up paying 12.5% tax on the entire 5 lakhs. But if you do harvesting and sell a little bit every year, Up to 1,25,000 rupees of tax can be saved. On the other hand, loss can be harvested. So if there is loss today, you can offset against your profit. If there is no profit but loss, you can book that loss today and carry forward it for up to 8 years starting today. So today you booked it, next year you have profit, you can book that loss against your profit, right? That's called harvesting. Harvesting is nothing but selling whatever you have today to either book your profit or your loss, and then again rebuying it in a couple of days, so that you're not letting go of that investment, but you're just harvesting your tax. Now, do not do it by yourself. Please speak to your financial advisor before you do your tax harvesting. Right. So all of these things for Ravi for taxation, right? And the last bit is will and estate planning. Now, how many of you think 60 is the right age for anybody to make a will? Thumbs up. 60 when you retire. Okay. How many of you think 75 is the right age to make a will? Okay. How many of you think 25 is right age to make a will? Okay, a lot of you are saying it's the right age. 25 is the right age. Uh, but what if you have no income and assets when you're 25? What will you write in your will? You don't have kids, you're not married yet. What will you write in the will? Right? So the answer to that question is there is no right age to make a will. What is a will? A will is a document that states whatever you own today, if you die, and that is when you die, what happens to those assets, how would they be transferred or shared with anybody else, right? So you can write your preferences. Okay, I have one house, I have one car, I have one watch, and yeah, let's say I have these three things. I have one wife and two kids. So after I die, house goes to my wife, watch goes to my son, the car goes to my other child. It's funny, right? Because then they'll obviously fight, कि अरे मेरे को गाड़ी मिला, तेरे को घड़ी मिला वैसा. But that's typically a will, right? So it states what your preferences are and what you want. Now, there is a possibility that the age of 25, you can own a lot of assets and you are married and you have kids. Then a will is absolutely required at that age. And at the age of 60, you're not married, you don't have kids, and you don't have any money. No need to make a will, right? So age is not a matter of fact over here. In case of Ravi, a will is definitely required because he has a wife, two kids, and two parents, and he has some investments and assets. So if he dies, what happens with his money, right? So that is why he needs a will. And nominations is not necessarily the owner of that asset, which means, for example, if I've updated my wife to be my nominee in my bank account, if my die, does all my bank account money go to my wife because she's the nominee in that? Or let's, okay, not wife. Let's say I've updated my friend as my nominee in my bank account. Okay. So does that mean if I die, all the money in my bank will go to my friend? No, it does not. My friend has the legal authority to operate that bank account in my absence. Because if I die, not anybody can use my bank, right? So the nominee can access that bank account, take that money, and then give it to the person who is legally the right heir to take that money if there is no will. Which means, if there is no will, Hindu succession law supersedes. Did you know, fun fact, in India, more than 45% of the legal active cases in courts of India are family disputes because there was no will in the family, right? So the takeaway for will and estate is there is no right age to make a will. Will is not a very complicated process. Any white paper on which if you write and sign it in front of two witnesses a legally valid will, right? But of course, you need to have a financial advisor to guide you through the process of making a will, right? So quick recap, guys. For Ravi, who is 34 years of age, 18 lakhs CTC, 23 lakhs net worth, married, two parents dependent and two kids dependent, 8 lakhs is his income, 5 lakh rupees ka personal loan on which he's paying 13,167 as his EMI. How did we do financial planning? The first thing we took care of was his insurance planning. So we suggested Ravi to get a health insurance family floater for himself, his wife, and two kids. maybe a separate policy for his parents or an emergency corpus for his parents, and a term cover of 2 crores until the age of retirement for Ravi. That age of retirement can be 60, 50, 45, anything, right? Next, we gave him a project to track his expenses for 3 months, understand what are his wants expenses, needs expenses. Two things. One, reducing the expenses. Two, mapping the right credit card to his expenses so that his reward points can be optimized. Next, we understood bad loans, good loans, and what is his bad EMI linked to his income ratio, which is 9%, and how could his personal loan could have been avoided if there was an emergency corpus available with him, right? Then we came up to investment planning where we spoke about asset allocation. So today, Ravi has mutual fund, EPF and PPF. You should not put all your money in one product. Once his emergency corpus is built and his loan is reduced, we will introduce more money to go into different products so that his asset allocation be done. Equity, real estate, commodities, investments in alternative sources and passive income source, right? After which we spoke about tax. So for Ravi, is old regime better or new regime better is what we need to find out. He has to file his taxes no matter what. It is mandatory to file your taxes. But will he have to pay taxes? I don't know. How much will that be? I don't know. That will depend on his old versus new tax regime calculation. Right? So we saw the calculator on One Finance app. And finally, we spoke about will and estate planning, where we recommended Ravi to make a will for his peace of mind so that his parents, his wife, his kids do not fight if he dies, right? Um, that's about it. That was financially planning for Ravi, and typically that's the approach we need to follow for anybody when we do financial planning. Always remember, money is not investments, money is financial planning. Right financial planning is less wrong financial decisions. Less wrong financial decisions is better peace of mind, and better peace of mind is financial well-being. That's what I had for today. If there are any questions, I'm happy to take. You can put it up on the Q&A portion of the chat. And
We have quite a few questions, Anuj. So
okay.
if we can pick top 3 to 4 questions and answer.
Yes. While I pick up questions and answer, the QR code that you see on your screen, guys, is for joining a community called the Personal Finance Club. Whatever conversation we did today, if you find it interesting, we do such conversations in that community where people are free to ask any question they want on that community about personal finance, obviously. And then there are qualified experts who will answer these questions for you on that WhatsApp. So if you find it interesting, you can join. There is no charges or fees or anything. Interesting fact, for this Personal Finance Club community, we're also hosting an offline event next week, this week in Bombay, the day after tomorrow, at the Western Hotel in Goregaon. So if you're interested, you can scan this code, join the community, and just ask about the event on that, and we should be more than happy to share details. Please share the website of One Finance. Okay.
I just did that.
Okay, perfect. So Preeti has messaged that on the group. If we already have a corporate term insurance, do we still need a personal one? Term insurance is only till the time we are working. So if the corporate term insurance is already covering for what's the need for an additional personal one? The answer to your question is already in your question. Corporate term cover is only covering your life until you work with that company. Now, what if you quit your job tomorrow, you join a new company and there is no corporate cover there? For you to switch your job, is the parameter that do they give term insurance or not? Or is the parameter how is the work, how much is the salary, where is it, stuff like that, right? So corporate term insurance and corporate health insurance, never be dependent on them, because the company can change their policies. You may change your companies tomorrow, you may quit your job and start your own business. We don't know that, right? So it's always recommended to have your personal health insurance and personal term insurance. I'm 35 years old and unmarried. Due to marriage alliances, need a own house. I have 2 sites out of two. One site, no appreciation from 5 years, so that I can sell this to construct house on another site. Please advise. Sir, Dilli Babu, I cannot give you a very straightforward answer to this because I need to understand your overall financial situation. Letting go of a property to build another one is definitely something you can consider if there are no other liabilities and if other assets and investments are quite stable. But if that's not the case, then I wouldn't recommend. So I would suggest that you speak to a financial advisor, reach out to One Finance or anybody that you're comfortable with, and we can definitely calculate and give you a more specific, structured answer to that, right? Um, What tax benefits you suggest for salaried class above 12 lakhs? Hardly any tax savings option available. Well, this question is by Manita. Manita, like I mentioned, you can quickly just check the calculator. A lot of options available. If you have HRA, if you have a home loan on which you're paying interest, if you have a car loan, which is electric car, and if you are in certain states of India, you can take benefit of the interest. If you have an education loan, you can take benefit of the interest. Your ELSS, EPF, PPF, health insurance premiums that you pay for yourself and for your parents, all of these things can be considered as deductions in your old tax regime if old tax regime is recommended for you. If there is new tax regime, then there is only corporate NPS that you can avail as a deduction. 14%, up to 14% of your basic salary can be used for your tax deduction under new regime. Will you guys help me take parents' health insurance and term insurance? Absolutely, yes. So, One Finance, we don't sell any financial products. We can advise you which is the right and the best product for you and your family. And our execution team can help you purchase it for free of cost. There is no money that you have to pay for it. So, we can definitely help you, Kedarnath. In fact, the fun thing is that the first financial plan consultation is absolutely complimentary, right? Um, would the slides be shared after the session? No, I don't think so. Right. Um, Along with term insurance, do we need to have accident coverage? So in case of a disability, by some income loss, as I think health insurance will only cover hospital expenses, but will not cover income expenses. So yes, definitely yes, Subramanian. Accident coverage, critical illness covers. These are a couple of add-ons and coverage that definitely makes sense with health insurance and term insurance. But you need to speak to your advisor once and find out which is the most relevant cover under which product, which is making sense financially to get, and something which is not just a sell from the company, right? Um, yeah, I think yeah, that's what I see. Anything else, Preeti?
No, no, I think we're good. Yeah, I mean, you can just brief them that we'll be getting in touch with them with respect to
Yes.
One Finance.
So the quiz that you guys took, the team will be reaching out to you. We can help you with your income tax filing, and your first financial plan consultation is absolutely complimentary. So if you relate to Ravi, the workshop that we took today, and if you'd like to also get a financial plan done similar to what we did for Ravi for you individually, then you can opt for our financial plan consultation. The first one is complimentary. The team will be reaching out to you. We have our financial advisors available in Bombay, Pune, Delhi, NCR, Gurgaon, Noida, Hyderabad, Bangalore. So if you're in any of these cities, my advisors can meet with you in person, physically. We have experience centers and offices. If not, then we can connect virtually. And the QR code on the screen that you see is for the personal finance community. If you're not sure about getting a financial plan consultation done today, you need some time, but you still want to explore this topic forward, then this community is a very good place. We're a SEBI registered firm. We're a registered investment advisory firm, one of the largest in India. We have close to 22,000 crores worth of asset under advisory. Our logic is simple. We don't push products. We don't sell products. If your need is, Anuj, tell me which product will give me 50% returns and how will I double my money, then I'm not the right person. But if your need is, Anuj, help me plan financially. I need peace of mind. I don't want to stress about work. I don't want to stress about money while I'm at work. And, things can be taken care of. Then I'm the best person for that. When I say, I mean, I represent One Finance as an institution, right? So we're the right people for you to talk to. Yeah. Anything else, Preeti, that you'd like to add?
No, I think we're good. Steffi, I think we're good. Done for this.
Yeah, thanks, Anuj. Thanks a lot. It was a wonderful session, quite insightful. For sure, our consumers would reach out to you guys in case they really need help with their finances. Thank you so much, and thank you all. Stay tuned for the next financial wellness program, which we'll conduct in the next month. Thank you. Have a great evening. Bye.
All right. Thank you very much.